S corporations are one of the most powerful ways to save money on taxes as business owners, but most people aren't using them to their full potential. My name is Grady Cool, CEO of Cool Wealth Management. Today, we are going over the 5 levels of S corporation mastery so you can save more money on taxes. The first level is just knowing the basics of how an S corporation works. When you start a company in the United States, you have a few different options for how you file with the government. The most common is the Limited Liability Corporation, or LLC. It prevents you from losing absolutely everything you own if you get sued. Generally, they can only take what is inside the LLC. For example, I own a rental property inside of an LLC. If I'm a dirty, good-for-nothing landlord who's mega lazy, then my tenant can only sue me and get the house. They can't get the rest of what I own, like the business. The S corporation is a type of LLC that changes how it's owned and how the profits are distributed. With the basic LLC, it's just a pass-through vehicle, so all of the taxes go straight to you. With an S Corp, you can be an owner and work as an employee. So you pay yourself a decent salary, and you get to take the rest home as distributions. That's the basics of how it works. The next level is avoiding some self-employment taxes by how you pay yourself. Self-employment taxes is Medicare and Social Security. The reasonable salary that you pay yourself is still required to pay those self-employment taxes, but the amount that you give yourself as distributions, you don't have to pay self-employment taxes on, which can save you a lot of money. Let's take a look at an example. Big Mike runs a gym. Big Mike's got the big muscles and the big money. He's taking home $200,000 a year, and he pays himself $80,000 a year as a reasonable salary for working 50 hours a week in this industry. Now, he takes another $120,000 home as a owner of the S corporations for what we would call distributions. On the $80,000, Big Mike has to pay 15.3% in self-employment taxes, whereas on the $120,000 he takes home as distributions, he doesn't have to pay any of that. Sounds fantastic, but there's a catch. Typically, one of the best ways to save on taxes is through retirement accounts like 401ks or IRAs. However, for money to go into one of those accounts, it has to be earned income. The salary you pay yourself counts as earned income, but the distributions you get as a owner of an S corporation don't count as earned income towards those retirement accounts. If you're making millions of dollars per year and your salary is still ridiculously high, then this isn't really nearly as much of an issue. But if you're in a similar range to Big Mike, then there really are some trade-offs to consider. With a 401k, you can contribute up to $23,500 in the year 2025 as an employee. But as a business owner, you can contribute up to a grand total of $70,000 using the employer side. If you have employees, it gets a little bit more complicated, but generally speaking, being able to put in the max amount you can into these types of accounts is going to be one of the biggest benefits for saving on taxes as a business owner. Balancing avoiding some self-employment taxes while trying to stock away as much as you possibly can into some of these retirement accounts usually does require some math using some piece of software.
Man, I love calculations.
However, there's another piece of the equation people don't always think about. The 4th level of mastery is making use of more than one retirement account at a time. As we just reviewed, when using an S corporation, one of our main goals is to minimize how much we reasonably pay ourselves as a salary while maximizing how much we can stock away inside of a retirement account. The earned income you put into a 401k could be the same earned income you put into a Roth IRA. For example, let's say your business made $100,000 in profits last year. You paid yourself $23,000 as a reasonable salary. Well, you can put $23,000 into your 401k and still put the max amount of $7,000 into your Roth IRA. You'll have the cash from the distributions and still be able to put it in the most tax-efficient spot possible. The final level of S corporation mastery is understanding how your choices will affect your tax credits and your future Social Security benefits. Let's start with Social Security. Only the salary portion, the part where you pay self-employment taxes on, is the part where you actually get to affect what benefits you will get from Social Security in retirement. So if you consistently keep your salary super low as possible, then you are ruining some of your potential Social Security benefits in retirement. That's not a deal breaker for everyone. Some people expect that they will be financially free, pulling in plenty of money in retirement and not really care about what they're getting from Social Security, while other people want to strike more of a balance. Either way, it's something to consider when considering what is a reasonable salary as a S corporation owner. Now let's talk about tax credits. Some tax credits, like the Earned Income Tax Credit or Saver's Tax Credit, are based on how much income you earned. If you minimize your salary too aggressively, you might miss out on tax credits that could have saved you some money in the process. That's why Level 5 is all about maximizing your full financial picture, not just your tax bill this year. Think of your salary as more than just a tax lever. It's also a building block for your retirement planning and your access to tax benefits. So, to recap, the 5 levels of S Corporation mastery are the basics, avoiding some self-employment taxes, balancing the earned income for retirement accounts, making use of multiple retirement accounts, and then taking into consideration your Social Security benefit and tax credits. With all of this in mind, think long-term, big picture, and most people only go to level 1 or 2. If you take the time to go a little bit deeper, you can set yourself up for tax benefits now and in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.